Greetings, you guys. So I'm probably not gonna pull anything, even though I have my cards out. I'm probably most likely not going to do that. Um, but I did want to come on and share a message with you guys, real quick, real fast. Hopefully, you guys can hear me because I don't have my microphone thing. So hopefully, you guys can hear me clearly. So I just wanted to come on and share this message for those of you that is meant to resonate with. So, hey, Besso. Hey, how are you? So yeah, I'm just gonna come on and just like share a message. I'm not going to pull anything, you guys. Um, I don't know, like my channel, like right now, I'm just going through a lot of shifts. I've been going through the shifts, and I'm still, trying to figure out exactly what I'm doing with this channel and so on and so forth. Where I can thrive and just be my multifaceted self and not put myself in this box, you know what I mean? And that whole tarot thing, like not being put into that. But I wanted to share this quick message. So I was doing a reading earlier today for someone, a beloved supporter of mine. I was giving her a reading, and in the reading, Spirit was showing me this vision, and I felt really led, like, okay, no, this I gotta share this. This is not just for one person. But the image and the vision that Spirit showed me, hey Des, was that Spirit showed me a figure, like a woman that had these attachments on her back. And because I was pulling the devil card came out. And I was like, there's some ties that you got to cut loose. And sometimes these ties, soul ties, from my understanding of my belief, is that soul ties are not only connected to um, people that you've been romantically involved with or sexually involved with. Soul ties can be towards people that you formed a connection with, even platonically, or people that have attached themselves to you knowingly or unknowingly. And that's why it's important that we take care of our spiritual hygiene. And of course, we all can do better with this. And some of us may be better at it than others, where um, you make sure that you cleanse the energy off from the day, and that you loose yourself or detach yourself from any form of ties or connections, right? So when I saw, like, the vision that I was seeing in my mind was a person, like a woman. It was like a figure, and this person had cords attached to them, and these cords extended themselves. You couldn't see where the cords were formed, or who they were attached to. And I remember a video that I watched from a prophetic channel. She drew a picture, and it was very similar to this image I saw in my mind, where she drew a picture of a woman and these cords. And she was explaining it and breaking it down in the way of, like, when she does like these workshops with women, and they it's like a book workshop where they write their own books, their own story about their life. And right before the course is about to end, some people drop out of the course, which makes no sense. Like, but you got to remember, like, these attachments, sometimes they're formed to thought forms. They're attached to word curses that others may have spoken over us, knowingly and unknowingly, like, you're stupid, you're not smart, or why can't you get it, why don't you understand. And I would highly advise, like, whoever this is for, that you take heed to this message so that you're free, because a lot of people drop off when you don't want to do the work, when you're not ready to be set free from certain things or certain thought patterns and forms. Your spirit gets agitated and irritated, and you don't want to hear it. So a lot of people will, like, click off. I understand that. They'll be like, oh no, this isn't for me. But what I'm about to say will make a lot of sense and help somebody potentially lead them to cutting these ties and these cords that keep them stuck. Um, so how she was breaking it down was that what happens is people that are very close to a breakthrough, they drop off because there's like a spirit that has it's a stronghold there that is attached to fail, or attached to failure, telling them that you're not smart enough, you're never going to get it, you're not pretty enough, you are not, you don't have the leadership skills, whatever these word curses and these lies that come upon you. Anytime you're reaching a breakthrough, inevitably you're going to face an attack, whether it's over your own self, your own mind, where you start those doubts start to creep in. the insecurities and the inadequacy starts to creep in just before the breakthrough happens. And this is why Spirit wanted me to say this, because the reason it's all tying together, because Spirit gave me 3 points to talk about: soul ties, the 7 tests, and preparation. Why? The 7 tests, I'm going to read it to you. Shout out to Nina's friend that sent this to her to send to me. The first test on the list is test of service, and it's on my community post. You guys just got to scroll down a little bit. The test of service. Second test, test of hiddenness. The third test, the test of discouragement. The fourth test, test of faithfulness. The fifth test, test of blessings. The sixth test, test of jealousy. Seventh test, test of faith. So right before your breakthrough, you'll probably be going through this, and it's kind of like this: right before you're about to graduate from your class, or you're about to graduate from school, you got to take a test, right? You got to take that final course, and it's really to see how far, how much information you gather, how much you've learned, how much you've taken in. Did you understand the assignments, right? Throughout this whole preparation phase of whatever it is that you're coming into, let's say, for instance, some of you guys are about to be released into marriage. Let's say some of you guys are about to have a breakthrough in career, where you're about to launch off and start a career, or you're going to school for something that, you're going to go out and operate in that gift or that whatever area of study, right? And you're going through these different tests. Let's break down the test of service. The test of service looks like, let's say, for instance, doing this, being a reader, right? Where I'm helping people in spite of where I'm at within myself. There's days where I may not be up to it, where Spirit will still be like, nah, I need you to speak. I need you to help this person. Um, do love reads when your love life looks like shit, and you're just like, okay, I'm telling all these people to be encouraged and to do this, and this is coming in for them, and I'm feeling like, okay, my love life is shit. I don't want to talk about love. That's the last thing that I want to talk about, right? Service is when you give, when you yourself feel like you can't, but you're still encouraged. You're still you feel that pull. You feel that conviction to. And when I say conviction, not like you're being forced necessarily, but it's like, I know I got to do this. It's like when you have to show up and get up for work in the morning, when there's times where you wish you could just stay in bed a little bit longer or call off, but you know you got to do what you got to do. Service can look that way in a sense. Giving when you feel like you're hopeless or your hope is deferred, or when you're frustrated, or when you feel depressed, or when you feel confused, but you still feel that I'm going to still give. Or to your children, even you have kids, and it's like, I gotta show up for them, even though it's hard for me to show up for myself. Or family that needs you, people that need you, whatever that might be. Are you gonna get into a place of complaining and be like, oh, I don't want to do this because, oh, if it's not about me, then I don't want to do it, right? That's the test, is to see if you can still be in that place even though it's hard. Second test, the test of hiddenness. It's another test that you might go through these tests all at once, all 7 of them, or maybe some of them, or maybe just one at a time. Hiddenness is a test where it seems like no matter what you do, you feel like you're not getting that recognition. It's almost like Spirit puts you in this place where, could be like hermit energy, where you're in a hermit mode, where you don't feel led to go out, you don't feel led to socialize. It could be hiddenness, being um, feeling surpassed or overlooked for opportunities. Could be, let's say, romantically feeling like you're being overlooked. A lot of times what Spirit does, when Spirit is working on you, when you're going through a process of healing, or when you're just being protected, rather, whether Spirit is protecting you from things that you are not ready for yet, or things or people that you might be vulnerable to, receptive to things, traps and snares, tricks, users, bad opportunities, things that are not for you, or launching you, into things that you're not ready for yet. You'll stay hidden. You'll be put in a place of hiddenness, and that's usually that is a place of where you're being pruned, where you go through the dark night of the soul and all of that, the healing process, right? Other times it could be you're hidden to protect you from others. So, or protect others from you, and not in a bad sense, not saying that you're a bad person, but let's say for instance, like, spirit puts you in a situation to help people, and you're in this place where you're not really ready to help, or you don't have it in you. You haven't been given the tools necessary, you haven't matured in certain levels to help people. So it's, or be in a relationship. Let's say, for instance, there's somebody that is emotionally available and ready, but you're still not emotionally ready because you're still mad at your exes, or you're still bitter about something, and then you get into this relationship and this person gets treated badly because you're not ready. You know what I mean? So hiddenness can have different reasons. So can you withstand the test and not try to force yourself to get out there, or to push yourself into something, or opportunities, or force opportunities where spirit might be like, no, it's not time, I'm protecting you, or I'm protecting you from getting out in the dating scene and you going out and dating, though you're not really in the place to date right now. So hiddenness is really oftentimes protection, and because you're in the process of still healing something, or it could be learning, wisdom, whatever. Test number 3, discouragement. Discouragement can look like when certain things are not going your way. Let's say, for instance, it seems like everything that you try to do is just not working, or um, any efforts you make, you get discouraged. You're like, oh, I can't do it. Instead of dwelling in that energy, you got to push yourself to keep going, and making the effort. So there's a difference. You got to discern, okay, is this a process of me pushing myself out there before my time where I need to be hidden, or is the spirit encouraging me to push past my fear, to push past my inadequacy, to push past insecurities, to push past getting stuck in what it looks like not happening, and still pursue my joy, my happiness, still pursue spirit, put my faith in things. And that will lead me to the next one, the next test, test number 3. Test number 3, or test number 4, sorry, is faithfulness. Your faith in yourself, your faith in God, your faith in divine spirit, Holy Spirit, your faith in your spiritual team as a whole, your whole unit. And that's not always easy either. So that can tie into the other two, discouragement and hiddenness, where no matter, in spite of your efforts, in spite of doing the service or doing good, helping, it's still that feeling of staying faithful in spite of it, still trusting. And can you stick it out? Like, faithfulness sometimes is you showing up for yourself. Like, can you stay faithful to your process as well and be like, I'm not going to give up on myself? Because faithfulness, and by definition, is the quality of being faithful in fidelity. Fidelity is what? Faithfulness to a person, a cause, or belief of something, right? So holding the faith in yourself, holding the faith in your process, holding the faith in God, and saying, I'm going to stay true to this. I'm not going to cheat myself out of this. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to talk myself out of it out of fear. I'm going to continue to push forward. That's the test too, right? And that's not easy. Especially when things don't look like it's going your way. That's not an easy thing. Um, Test of blessings. So the test of blessings, for me, what I'm getting from this, just within my own self spiritually, when you get blessed, what do you do with those blessings? Do you share and give, and that could tie into service? Can also tie into the next test, which is jealousy, and I'll get into that in a second. But the blessing is, like, say you get blessed. How you treat other people, are you going to be able to give those, share those blessings? Are you going to try to stunt on people when you get it, right? Is it like something where you're going to use it to taunt or to be braggadocious? Or is it something that you'll be able to show gratitude and thankfulness for? Well, you'll be a good steward with these blessings, right? So, and help others that you're called to help. Even your own enemies. See, this is the thing too. And I got this revelation. I was watching a video, where she was talking about this, how this one particular scripture that's very popular, people misconstrue this one scripture. I will prepare a table in front of your enemies. I'm paraphrasing, but people take that out of context and look at it as like spirit's about to feed me all these blessings, and God's gonna give me this banging body, this amazing husband, this amazing life, this wonderful car and money and blah blah, all this stuff before my enemies so they could see it, and I could stunt on my exes, I can stunt on my haters, I can stunt on this. No, that's not what that scripture means. Preparing the table before your enemies, where you have it, this is the test of your, the fruit of your spirit, your heart posture, what type of person you are, what type of vibrational energy you're in, your intentions as well, what's in your heart, is when you have something maybe more than the next person that did you dirty. You may have the money that maybe this person just lost their job and they're suffering, and you just got blessed with a job opportunity where you're gonna make buku money, right? And then this enemy, let's say it's your ex, and you see your ex is down and out, and instead of looking at them like, you know, I wonder how they're doing, or let's say hypothetically, maybe I can help them with a job or something. Instead of doing that, you gonna whip your car around the corner because you know they're gonna be over here hanging out. Let me whip over here so they can see me. That's not what that scripture means. So the test is, some of you could be receiving, maybe just like a blessing, like I wouldn't say a small blessing because a blessing is a blessing, but something that is not as heavy in weight. And I lost some people because some of y'all might have that, and that's an ugly thing to have inside of you. And naturally, anytime when people do us wrong, of course, we might fantasize about, doing better, or in a way where we can say, "Well, you thought you did me wrong, or you thought you could get over on me, but look where I'm at." That's a fantasy that most humans have. It's natural, but you don't want to dwell in that, and you definitely don't want to operate in that energy, because just as God can bless you, God can take it away, or you can sabotage your blessing, or the next person might do better than you, or your enemy might have something next that you think that you should have, and all of that. Are you going to stay in that low vibrational place? Hopefully not. So a test of blessing oftentimes can be you being blessed, and what you do with that blessing, how you steward that blessing, how you treat others, especially those that did you dirty. How you walk and how you move in that. Another test of blessings could be other people being blessed in the areas that you desire to be blessed in, or the things that you've been praying for, you've been trying to manifest, you have been wishing for, and you see someone else have that thing. How you handle that, which leads me to test number 6, which is jealousy, the test of jealousy. Are you provoking people through jealousy? Are you trying to make people jealous? It's a test as well. Go back into the blessing thing where you bless. Are you provoking people? Look what I got. There's a difference between sharing good news versus being a bragger. There's a difference. Provoking jealousy. The opposite of this can be, are you being provoked by jealousy? Do you feel jealous of what other people have, what they're doing, what they coveting basically? Are you jealous, and are you coveting that? Other people's blessings, or their what they're seemingly being blessed with, because the thing is that we don't know if what someone has is by a blessing from God or a source, or is it something that they work to get that may necessarily not be what's best for them, right? It looks like it. You'll see a woman on a yacht with this man, and you'll be like, oh my God, she's living the best life, but then the whole time that's just somebody, she in a situationship, and they might be arguing as soon as they get off that boat. You're looking at something else. Or, and you got to be careful of this too, if you're coveting a blessing that God blessed someone with, like let's say someone is in a situation where God brought them through that, and they're blessed with that, and maybe it's their calling, it's their purpose, their gifts, and you're like, oh well, they shouldn't, how come they can do that and I can't? That type of stuff, like you got to be careful with that, especially that one. And a lot of times, people have gone through their seasons that you know nothing about. It's easy to look at somebody and be like, oh, I wish what they had. Do you? Because you don't know what that person might have had to go through. You don't know what type of healing, the extensive healing, the amount of courage it took to get to where they are, that maybe you're not in the position or you don't feel that you're able to do, right? Someone may have more of a go hard, more of a discipline, you know what I mean? That person might have had to sacrifice some things or to cut off some things or some people out of their life that weren't for them, where maybe you wouldn't be comfortable doing that. Maybe this person was led to move. You might not feel comfortable doing that. Maybe this person had to quit a job where they made a lot of money, whereas you may not feel comfortable or safe taking that leap of faith. You don't know what people have to go through to get to where they are, especially if it comes from divine obedience, meaning you're obedient to that voice, that divine voice inside of you that tells you, go here, go there, let this go, call this person, quit this job, cut that boyfriend off, call the engagement off. That's not who I want you to marry. And then it leads to them being married to the right person. And you're looking at this person like, oh, they just get, everybody's getting married. Oh, she just was engaged, or he was just engaged to this person, and they're already with somebody else. You don't know what God did. You don't know. You don't know. And you don't want to covet anything, whether it's the wrong thing you're coveting or a good thing that you're coveting. You don't want to do that, because your time is your time. So Spirit might be testing people in that area. Test the faith. So we'll go back into the faith thing. The evidence of faith. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for yet unseen. So with faith, faith is not based off of what you can see, but it's more so based off of the spirit of things, the unseen. It says the elders, what is that scripture? Because I kept seeing 11 and 1 o'clock, or 11:01, or 1:11, or 11 and 1 just keeps popping up. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know if it's through 12. I'm gonna read this to you. Let me see. Um, okay. So it says, now faith is a confidence what we hope for and assurance about what we don't see. Okay. So you're confident in what you're hoping for. Like you believe, like you're sold on it. Assurance is a positive, like by definition, assurance means a positive declaration intended to give you confidence, a promise, a confidence or a certainty in one's own abilities. So let's say, okay, again, so your faith is something that you are confident in. You're certain in that. You're certain about this promise, but it's a positive declaration intended to give you confidence. So that can only come from source. See, like we can have false confidence too, where we get cocky, right? And we start being like, yeah, I know this is gonna happen for me. And it's not coming from a rooted place. It's not coming from a sound place. Because God will confirm these things. Like it'll be a confirmation. First, your spirit senses it. It's a conviction in your spirit of something that you know. You can't explain how you know or why you know it, but you just know, right? That's usually a divine confirmation, a divine confidence, a godfidence, a divine assurance of something. Like you know something as a matter of fact. You don't need anybody to tell you. You know in your spirit. It's not cockiness. It's not you declaring something from a place of, let's say, from entitlement, or from a place of, um, oh, I know this is about to happen for me because I'm fine. I should have this, or I've been doing this. I'm better in the company than so and so. That's not what that means. So, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance in what we do not see. So, again, it is an internal knowing. It is a divine conviction within the self. It's not based off of physical evidence first, but you do need confirmation to back it up. Anything that you're seeing, because then at that point it's just delusion. If you're believing in something where there's no divine confirmation, I'm not talking about asking for signs and synchronicities from all over the place, but really being discerning and being direct with spirit and say, I need you to confirm this to me, spirit. And I would suggest with that to let God show it to you. However, it's meant to be shown rather than being so strict and be like, I need you to show me this green elephant with a with some gold trinkets on his ears or something. I don't know, something crazy. I don't know, or it could be something simple. I need to see 111 on the clock on Tuesday, by Tuesday, and I'll know that it's you, or I'll know that it's real. No, just leave it open. Just leave it open. Um, so yeah, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance of what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. So the ancients, meaning the elders, those that came before us, they were commended for their faith. Their faith, if you look at anybody in history that you might look up to, they believed in their inventions, they believe in their causes, and you see the effects of that. If you look at the biblical figures in the Bible, same thing. Moses didn't have physical proof that he was going to be able to free the Hebrews out of Egyptian slavery. He wasn't completely sure of himself, but the conviction of God led him to Egypt to do that. So if you look at the elders, whether you look at it in a biblical sense, whether you look at it in historical, whatever, they're commended for their faith. What is it? Hebrews 1:11-3 says, by faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command. So what is seen was not made out of what was visible. So it kind of goes back to Genesis 1. Words create worlds. That's what that means. What we speak out of our mouth as well creates worlds. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It was formless. It was empty. Darkness was the surface of the deep. That's the unseen world. That's the unseen. That's the hidden. The Spirit of God was hovering over the waters, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. So again, said, I remember this one time. Matter of fact, it wasn't even that long ago. I was brushing my teeth. I was listening to this video, this woman speaking about her journey. She was talking about how she wanted to be a broadcaster, a news broadcaster, or a journalist. And she was saying that she had a YouTube channel where that was her main focus. And at the time, she was going so hard on it. Her daughter had gotten sick, and her daughter couldn't go to daycare that day, so she wasn't able to record a video that she had scheduled that day, and she was upset. And she had to check herself. Why? I'm listening to all of this because it's tying into some things, and then I remember saying to myself, in myself, not speaking out loud because I'm brushing my teeth, but saying to myself, thank you, God, for this. Thank you, God, for me coming across this video. And then I felt guided to say it out of my mouth as well, so then I said it out of my mouth, and I seen words, like in my mind's eye, because God, that's how God speaks to me, through my visions, like through my mind's eye, and that could be imagination too. But anyway, I seen the words, thank you, God. And I said it again because I'm like, I want that spirit to fill my house, that gratitude to fill my space, my home. So when you speak things out of your mouth, it's a vibration, and it's going out into the atmosphere. So we have to be careful. Like they say, there's life and death in your tongue. Our mouth, our words can create worlds and realities, even if we don't see it yet. That's also another part of faith as well, is what you affirm and what you speak out of your mouth. So I want to go back to the ties again. Let me backtrack back to the soul tie thing. If there's cords where there's an attachment, and sometimes these cords can be connected to platonic connections. Let's say, for instance, you have a cord connected to a mother or father or a teacher or someone or a child on the playground, and it's 11. Spirit is so funny. It was just 11 views and 1 like. You guys, if you resonate with this, like this video and share it with somebody. Like, don't just, I'll be out here going hard for y'all, because this ain't about me. When I come on here, this isn't because I want to hear myself talk. Like, I genuinely come on here because I want to help, and on top of that, because God told me to do it. Like, I don't do anything for myself. Like, hardly do I ever come on here thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, it's not, no. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys show a like. I would greatly appreciate the support. That's y'all showing support. And on top of that, my algorithm Like where I'm at on the algorithm probably is on the back blacklisted. I don't know what YouTube done did to my channel, but I would greatly appreciate you guys if you engage more, if you genuinely like these videos and share it with someone. Don't be shy. You don't gotta comment. You don't gotta show your face. Silent support, I appreciate that too. Silent support, silent prayers and encouragement. You don't have to speak it out and praise my name or nothing. I just appreciate the feedback and the support, whether it's digitally. It doesn't have to actually be seen, but I would appreciate it. Thank you. But where was that at? So the soul tie, let's say for instance, these ties are connected to a peer that said to you that you were never going to be anything, or you're stupid, or you heard that time and time again as a child. What are you, stupid? Oh, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do this right? You never do anything right. And even if your parent didn't mean to say that in a way to instill that in you, but let's say you internalize that as a child, and every time you're about to do something, or you're about to make, let's say you're about to write a book, and then something stops you and be like, no one's ever going to read this book, and you never publish it. You got to cut that at the root. There's something inside of each and every person on this planet and human being where, and some people are better at catching it and overcoming it and saying it's just a fear, whereas some humans might internalize certain things and not know that it is a block between them and their breakthrough or their success or their calling or their purpose, because they've allowed some type of tie to keep them there. For others of you, let's say for instance, it's love. You slept with somebody a long time ago, or you slept with multiple people, and maybe they don't even cross your mind anymore. They're just a number, right? But the energy that might have been attached to this person, let's say an energy on them is still connected to you, and you don't even know that it's blocking you from the right person. There's this energy that's still attached that says, I get off to this type of person. I get off to that type of person. Or um, I'm attracted to that type of archetype, or people that have situations like this, or somebody that is always going to cheat. I'm attracted to, I'm looking at the physical, but in essence, the attachment, that cord from these people that may carry that similar energy, I'm still attracting that, or I'm still attracted to it. Sometimes, because we can get into victim mode when we say, why did I attract this? Sometimes it's not something attracting to you, and maybe it is, because like attracts like. If there's an energy that you're operating in, or a spirit, for those of you that get it, but if you are still kind of in the kiddie pool spiritually, and those type of words trigger you or freak you out, something is a vibration or energy is still attached to you. But for those of you that get it, a spirit that is attached to you, that's connected to another person, you're going to attract people that have that same spirit. Let's say lust, the spirit of lust. People that just are itching to get it in, right? Or they're addicted to reckless sex, or somebody that's into certain kinks that you're into, right? And you may not even understand. It might have been formed from a person that you slept with. You didn't have that kink before until you slept with this person. Now you're itching to get it in with another person and that person. So you cut those things off. That could be the very thing for a lot of you. I have to say this because it's going to help somebody. I have to say this. I got to be real with you. If that's there, that could be the thing that's blocking you from a relationship breakthrough. You're attracting the same types of men and women, and you get upset. I see a lot of people do this. I've even done this. I always say to myself, why do I keep always attracting guys that do this and do this and do that? It's because something inside of me believes that that's what I want. And that comes from inadequacy. That comes from me being emotionally unavailable. I'm going to keep attracting that until I cut that off, right? So let's say, for instance, you're always attracted to people that have baby mamas. You know, every time you get with somebody, they got somebody else, or they're in a situationship with another woman, and then you're like being fumbled on the other side of it. Or men, they always complain, oh, all women do this. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's, you're attracted to a woman or women that do this. I see a lot of times, just as men say women only want the bad boys, right? I see men try to turn a woman that's not trying to be a housewife. She ain't trying to be loyal. She doesn't want to be a lady. And you're trying to turn her into that because you're attracted to the aesthetic. So you got to be careful with that. you're attracted to the energy of that, and you want to turn it into what you genuinely want. That spirit in you is like, no, we want her, even though her energy, her spirit doesn't carry what the soul wants. So you got to cut off what the flesh wants, or what that spirit that's feeding wants, or is telling you, or feeding into you and depositing into you. That spirit that tells you ain't gonna be shit, you ain't good enough, no one's ever gonna want to listen to you, no one's gonna buy that book. Oh, don't even think about stepping out and going to school because you're stupid anyway, you're not gonna stick it out. Or the poverty mindset where you watch your parents struggle, so you say to yourself, I'm never going to be able to financially take care of myself, so why burden myself? I'm not going to do that. Cut those things off. Cut those things off at the root. Ask spirit to help you cut that off. Cut those soul ties off. Cut those word curses off. Because like in that depiction, that visual that I seen in my mind's eye, it looked just like with the woman in the video that I mentioned earlier, where she said that anytime that her students or the ladies in her workshop are about to reach that last week, there's something that happens and they fall off. They quit the course before they even finish. They don't ever graduate the course. It's a cord that keeps you stuck. You may not see because it might be a far cord. Let's say, for instance, let's say this is you. This is you. These are the cords, and it's like long. You don't even, so long you don't even see where it's connected. And let's say there's multiple cords like that. You got to cut these off at the root, because what they're doing is, even if you don't know the genesis of it, it prevents you from going too far. Until you cut it off, it's blocking you. It's preventing you from moving forward. You have to block it off. And it may be the very things or the people you don't want to cut off. But who's to say that you cutting those people off, it also helps them to detach from whatever that spirit is that's operating in them, and it helps free them. It might be. But if, as long as you keep yourself stuck and in a limbo, you're never going to prosper past that place, because there's going to be something, it's going to be a thought, or it's going to be an energy that's going to be attached, and you're not going to be able to attract the blessings with those attachments to you. You got to think of it practically and spiritually. You want a healthy relationship, but there's this song that's on, it's so funny. Spirit is so funny. Spirit is funny. You gotta move on, for real. Like, you get stuck on certain things and mindsets, and you don't even know that it's working against you. That's why it's important that, and I don't understand this, but I think it's just human nature. Like, we get to a place where we just do the same thing over and over and over again, and we don't see the insanity in it. But like, people that just broke up with somebody. I had a friend that was a serial dater. She had every 5 minutes somebody was her boyfriend. Like, I swear, like, I would talk to her with, like, maybe 2 weeks later, it was somebody else that was her dude, her man, or she was talking to. And she slept with all of them. Imagine you slept with every single one of them. Let's say it's like 5 guys in 1 month that you said, this was my man, this is my boyfriend. Oh, I'm dating so-and-so, me and Trevor. Oh, me and Matthew. Oh, me and so-and-so. I'm just making up names. But you're sleeping with all 5 of them in 1 month. Can you imagine how much gunk is just like, it's just jumbled up energy. It's like just too much, just mixed up, right? It's just confusion. And in your spirit is like, because genuinely, she wanted to have a man. She wanted to have a family. Even though she was telling herself what she was doing is like normal, it really wasn't. It was coming from a place of brokenness and seeking a void. And the dudes that she was attracting were trash. And I'm not trying to talk down on nobody, but these dudes were not about nothing. And I would look at her and I'd be like, what are you look like? What's wrong with you? Like, not like judging her, but I'd just be looking at her like, what in the, like, why? Why? And let's say her husband, there's a man for her that is for her, that's healthy, that's emotionally mature, emotionally stable, mentally stable, spiritually, has something to give to her. is the person that's meant to help her, that's meant to love her, that's meant to edify her, and vice versa. Where she can, her best version of herself lies in that connection as well. But she's at this version of herself that's attracting these lower vibrational energies. And the person that's for her, they can't even come in her vicinity because her vibration ain't on their level. She hasn't reached that level yet. And then in her mind, she's thinking, why do I keep attracting the same man? There's no good man. Your vibration is not available for the good guy for you. You probably wouldn't even be able to even see him because where your energy is not on that person's level yet. It's not on the vibration. And I have to be honest and transparent too, like, so y'all can see, like, I ain't perfect. I'm a work in progress, as all of us are. Like an active work in progress. Like, I'm actively working through these things as we speak. There's connections that I have to be honest and look back at, and I'm like, what the fuck was you doing, Chenoa? Why? What were you seeing in this? Where you like the idea, but it's something that it's safe enough to push it away, or it's not too real, it doesn't get too real, or as soon as it gets real, something happens and you low-key sabotage it, and that exposed the emotional, the unavailability that was inside of me. If I had to be honest, looking back, would I be, and I still have to work on this, would I really be genuinely available to the man that is emotionally going to show up for me and allow me to be vulnerable and allow me to be myself, allow me to reveal any mask that I have that I feel like I have to protect myself amongst others, or if I share this part of myself, they might not like me no more, or if I do this, they might just say, F it, I don't even want to try no more. If I had the person for me that says, you can be yourself with me, you can be vulnerable with me, I'm not going to go anywhere because we're supposed to be together, so there's nothing you can do or say necessarily that's going to scare me away or make me look at you like, oh, she's weird, or oh, I don't know, or oh, she ain't cute enough, or she got little rolls. You know how some people might look at that, right? To sit in that comfortability, especially if you've never been in a space where you felt unconditionally loved, it's going to be scary. Are you brave enough, though, to make yourself available to that? Because a lot of us, look, for real, low key, are attracted to people that are just as emotionally unavailable as we are. Like attracts like. If you're dealing with a man or a woman that doesn't show up, they fall off, they don't accept you, that's because there's a part of you that does not accept yourself. Like attracts like. It doesn't mean that you're a shitty person and you're just so damaged. No. What spirit does, what God does, is expose these things so that we can heal, so we can free ourselves. The enemy does the opposite, and contrary to that, the enemy will speak to you and tell you, see, you're so fucked up. Ain't nobody gonna want you. You're not good enough. Oh, remember you used to do this? Oh, you did that. Remember, you're not good enough. You're not a good person. You're this, you're that, nobody's gonna want you. It sounds like a toxic boyfriend. That's how you can differentiate between lower vibrational spirit and a high vibrational spirit. High vibrational spirit says, you know, this thing about you, it's not cool, but you can work through that. You can heal through that. You're better than that. That's edification. Lower vibrational spirits is like, yeah, you jacked up. Oh, you can't be fixed. That's the separation between that. I say all this to say, you're being tested in the spirit because, and being called to cut things off of you and out of your life, out of your mind, out of your heart, cut cords, cut ties with things that no longer serve you, things that may no longer be in existence in your physical life, but you're still allowing it to live rent free in your mind and in your heart. You got to cut it off because you're being prepared for something better. Your vibration, it's like your soul is like trying to take flight. But look, again, let me use this as an example. Let me do this right here. Let's say this is you. Trying to be light as a feather, right? You're light. You're about to take flight, but you got cords and ties keeping you. Till you cut it off, you cannot be free. You have to cut it off. You have to. That's a part of the work. And I know a lot of people will steer clear from this because they don't want to do the work. I know. It's painful, especially the deeper you get, the more painful it is. But you got to do the work. And the good part, and I always stress this to people, is that you don't have to do it by yourself. You got physical resources, you have therapy, you have friends and family that, those of them at least, if you do have friends and family that you can speak to, there's hotlines, there's forums, there's prayer, there's your faith, there's, it's so many resources that show you and let you know that you don't got to go at this alone. You just have to be courageous enough and make it up and love yourself enough, even if it's a small thing where you feel like you're a shitty person, but there's still some enough belief in yourself that you say, no, I want to do better. You got to want that for yourself. It really does take courage. Healing, accountability, self awareness, and all of that, that's spiritual maturity. And it's also courageous because it's easy. I'm telling you, it's easy to just lay in shit and just be like, oh, well, I'm a pig. I'm going to just lay in this shit. Rather than like, no, I'm not a pig. I'm not. I'm actually a unicorn. I don't know what I'm doing laying in shit. I'm supposed to be somewhere in the sky and in the rainbows. I don't know what this shit is. And as a human, we have reality, right? We go through things. All humans are. I don't care how much money a human makes. I don't care how fine a human is. I don't care how smart. I don't care. We all have our shit. We all have vulnerabilities. We all have weaknesses, but we also have strengths. We have beautiful things about us. We have different facets of ourselves that some of us haven't even tapped into yet. We don't even know the greatness of ourselves and who we are. And I talk about God so much, and I'm not talking about God from a place of what the Bible is only telling me and what church told me. From my own experience, my own relationship as it still builds. Because my relationship was with God was taught through religion, through someone else telling you this. No, my relationship with God, I had to seek it out for me. And seeing what God has done in my life and how God reveals themselves, how multi-fast, not even multi, just infinite God is. I talk about God to people because I want you to find source God for yourself and seek the power and the presence of God for yourself and what that means to you and how it can edify and how it can change and shift your life or certain circumstances. My life is not fully where I want it to be by any means. No, it's not. There's things though that I can give credit to God. So many things, even things that I can look back on where I didn't even give God an ounce of my time. Where I could see the blessing and I could see the protection. I could see the ways being made for me. How spirit works. I'm not going to give all that credit to ancestors and deities and all of that. Source God is a infinite thing that it's an aspect of all these little things that we give so much power to. Even me as this fleshy being, God is in me. That's how powerful God is. God is in you. So I really, 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 really want to stress this, that you're never going to find value and worth in this world outside of yourself. It comes from God and God alone because you were created. You're here for a purpose. That breath, that life is God. That's spirit in you. It's God in you. Has the breath, that has the life that's still here at this moment, at this time, that has a purpose, that has an assignment. You can choose to walk in demonic assignments because some people have chosen that. You can choose to walk in the divine assignment for your life that not only is for you, but for others here on this planet, because your experience is not left alone into just to suffer and human suffering. And there's a lot of things that we may not understand why we go through things, why life is a certain way, why do some people starve in some countries, why is there war and famine here and there. We don't understand all of that. There's a purpose in everything. But you don't have to dwell all in that. And there it could be that there's things too that other people may be assigned to help with those things. But if we don't allow ourselves to even get in that space, to even operate in our giftings or our callings, we can do the world a disservice. You know, you never know what your purpose is. You might think writing a book is very small, but you don't know who you're blessed with that book and what you'll activate inside of them through what you're sharing, what you're saying, and your testimony. Preparation phase doesn't always gotta be you hands-on preparing like you're in a workshop. Sometimes it's preparing your mind, your heart, your spirit. If you don't feel or know that you're a leader, how you gonna show up into that leadership position that you're being called to step into? How? And I'm grateful. Whoever this is meant for, I pray that this leads you to where God's been calling you and pushing you, encouraging you, pulling on your heart to get to. I pray that it does, or at least it's like a small step into something greater. You know what I mean? If you're here watching this live and when you're watching it, you're watching this after the fact, because I can't speak to everybody. Not everybody's at the same space that the next person is in. Some people are not at a certain level of understanding yet, and some people may never be there. Some people don't want it, and that's fine. I can only help those who I'm guided to help, even if it's a small few of you. But I know that whatever my seed is that I'm planting and giving, it may be a small in comparison to maybe what someone takes out of it. As long as, because each spirit, the parable is the seed. Some people might take that seed, do something with it, where some people might discard the seed, where some people might like it. It might tickle their fancy in their ears for a time, and then they'll forget about it later on, and it was nothing to them. But be I want to speak to those that this message will do something of positivity and expand further for someone else, however and whatever that looks like. So you're being prepped. That's where the preparation comes in. Is your preparation. And just like with school, like I was saying with the test thing, like when you're in school and you're about to graduate, you got to take those final tests. They call it finals, right? So you take your finals, and that's going into everything that you learn on all of the different courses and semesters. You're taking all of that in, and you're going back and you're taking the final test to see what you've learned. That's kind of what these tests are. Spirit is testing you, testing your testing your faith, your service, testing if you're jealousies. You know, there is testing you because there's certain things that you're being called into. It's like if you're not ready to graduate, Spirit's not gonna let you. You can't pass the test. If you don't pass the test, you can't graduate. You might got to do it over again, right? So make sure that you're checking yourself. Make sure you check yourself and where you're at, because sometimes we can fall into depression, we can fall into complaining, we can fall into wanting to give up, throwing our hands up and say F this. You got to be careful of that. You don't want to miss your blessing right now as it stands. Some of you guys, it's jobs. Some of you guys, it's love. Some of you, it's your health. You got to check your posture right now, for real. Because the word stewardship keeps coming up for me. I keep hearing that stewardship. And to be a steward is your job is to be a supervisor. You're supervising something. You're caring for something, which requires you to be organized. It's a what? Why is my Bluetooth going in and out? Anyway, it's checking you to see if you're able to. What is it? The scripture that's coming to mind is, um, if you can handle the small thing, I'll make you ruler over many. Meaning, if you can handle these things, in hindsight, it's really just small things right now. There's tests. There's things that may seem like right now, because you're in the middle of it, you're in the midst, you're in the process, it seems bigger and worse than what it actually is. It's just a part of the chapter that you're in. You're not going to be here forever. Even if you feel like you've been here for 10 years, you've been here for most of your life, you're at this point now because everything happens in seasons. And I'm not talking about earthly seasons like winter, summer, fall, spring, whatever, but more so from, because our time is not God's time. God's time is completely opposite. It's not man-made. So there is a season and a time and place for everything. So whatever seasons you were in, however, how long, how short you think you've been in these seasons, there's always a purpose to each season. There's a premise for it. If you discern it, if you really look at it, you'll be able to see it. Or it may not make sense until some point, but there's a purpose and a reason for every season we go through. And divine timing represents perfect time. Perfect timing. Divine timing is not based off of when you want it or when other people think you should have it or your age or whatever, what society says. It's timing that's perfect and divine willed for you. Right on time for you. Right to where, perfect for where you're at in this moment or this time or where your vibration is, your vibrational alignment, divine time, right? So at this moment, this message, if it's for you, you'll know. At this moment, this is a clear sign, like it's preparation, and you don't have much time because whatever it is that's about to come forth, whatever it is, it's going to come when you least expect it. You might be thinking that certain things are going to take long, or oh, I've been hearing this, it's never going to change. And it might be something that changes within this week, 2 months from now, within the next year, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And I remember saying this to my friend, and it's like deja vu. Like, I heard it again because I said this in another, when I went live on my other channel, I said this same thing. I remember reading for my friend that's married now. And I was reading for her and I was telling her, you got it. Like, this person that you're asking about is not your person. Like, release them, cut them off. And I said, and I don't remember saying it until she reminded me of this at some point. She was like, you told me I wasn't going to be single for long. And I got to a place where I let the guy go and I just accepted and I started focusing on me. And then right as soon as I started doing that, I was led to go on a dating site and I started meeting people, like opening myself up. And then I met my husband. That was all within the same year, me doing that reading for her, that happened. So as I'm saying this to you, whatever it is that you're being prepared for, it's going to be different because you guys are all unique and different. So it's not going to be the same situation. It's not going to be the same area of your life that you're inquiring about. Um, Hold on. Okay. It's not going to be the same thing, but it's not going to be long before that thing comes to pass, is what I'm trying to say to you. It's not going to be long. So it literally could be spirit is saying the same thing to you. Like, enjoy being single. If love is the thing that you're asking about, or you've been, believing for, praying about, inquiring about, is on your heart, it could very well be that. For some of you, it could be a job position. Like, you might be wanting something that is very big and comes with a great responsibility when it comes to career or when it comes to some type of cause that you're creating or that you're stepping into or you want to manifest or you've been inching into. It might not, it's the small thing, you're being tested in order to be ruler over the big thing. So whatever the big thing is that you're being prepped for, you may not have time to just not have time. You could just say to yourself, oh, okay, I can rest, I can take a nap, I can do this, I can do that. Versus when you step into this big thing, you might be called to a lot of responsibilities where you don't have that free time like you once did. You know what I mean? You're going to be in demand, or, people might be demanding your time. And whatever this thing is, really be present, because things are going to happen very quickly. Things are going to happen very quickly, very fast. It's going to be not just about you anymore, where you might feel like you had that time, to where now your time is also, connected to others and helping others, or being in a marriage or a relationship, a unity, unit with a one other person. It's not just going to be you anymore. So whatever this is, prepare for it and be ready. And spirit may have been prepping you slowly but surely. Maybe you've had some experiences where, spirit might have launched you out to do something for a time, just to get your feet wet, to get that experience here and there. But it's going to come a time where it's a full launch. It's full launching. Like, it's full launch. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to do too much. I pray that this message resonates with whomever it's meant to resonate with. And if you feel like it will benefit someone else, please share it. Don't forget to like this. If this message has been a blessing to you, like it. Also, too, guys, coaching sessions. If you guys would like a coaching session, especially at this time right now, you want to know what season you're in, where you need to place yourself. You need a little bit of help and encouragement on that, revelation on that. I would love to help. My services are available. I'll leave them in the description. I have 1 hour sessions of your choice, by phone or by a live video chat or something. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if you any questions about my services. I know I'm all over the place, but I would love to help. If it is something that you truly feel led to invest in, it's definitely a self-investment. It's not something that you just sign up for and just to see what it's about. No. If you genuinely want to invest in yourself, in your journey, and you feel led to, get the coaching session with me and to work with me, I'm open to those that are in that place. So, much love to y'all. Be blessed, be safe, take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.